Hey everybody! So today I am here in my grandparents' house and this is my grandmother. And actually I don't call her grandma or granny or anything. I call her Ankela, which is a German dialect word for grandmother, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's a friendly expression for a grandmother.
Yes, so this Ankela is extra friendly. This grandmother.
What makes me so happy
Yes.
is that I am with two of my granddaughters.
So Jen, come on, you have to wave. So Jen is making sure that the camera and audio all works well today, which it totally will. And we're just coming to have a visit with Ankela.
Yeah, see what makes it so special is that my husband and we raised 9 boys.
There's the lady, 9 sons.
And so the granddaughters, as they came along, each one was very special. And we experienced the girl side of the Mendel family in a new way.
Hopefully it wasn't too bad.
No, it was wonderful. But that makes it that each granddaughter in herself is special. So thanks for coming today, you two, to spend this time with me.
Thank you for having us, and thank you for coming on to do this video with us. And what I want you, my viewers, to know is that my Ankela here has been around for a couple years, and she's lived through a lot of different things that we can only read about in textbooks. Like last week, in my video, I talked about an interview, essay contest with people who've experienced history. Well, Ankela here has experienced a lot of history, and there's so much that me and my cousins and wider family can learn from, and so that's also why I want you to meet her, because she's somebody that is very special to me. So we're just going to invite you in onto our conversation, and because that's one thing that I love to do. I love to come over to Ankela's house and just talk, right? We ask questions, and
any subject is welcome.
Yep.
Even if it's controversial.
Yep. Controversial.
That makes us even more excited.
Yes. Matters of faith, matters of family. So we'll see how long it goes. We have no idea.
So you probably noticed that I have an accent. It's not English, it's not Spanish, it's not French, although people often ask me, are you French? But it is because I grew up speaking German in our family. I am the 5th of 11 children to my parents.
It's amazing.
And actually, five of them have passed on already.
That's right.
And I and 4 of my sisters are still here, and we speak mostly German to one another.
But can I quick ask you a question? Are you German?
No, I am not German. My parents joined this group of community when they were a young couple with 1 child, and they came from Switzerland. They joined the community when it was existing in Germany and experienced the whole, when they had to flee Germany because of Hitler's regime. My father actually was one of the 3 brothers left behind in prison.
That's right, yeah.
Always under the threat of ending up in a concentration camp.
Right, so the Nazis, they came to the Bruderhof when it was existing in Germany. What year would that have been?
37.
1937.
Yeah.
And they actually imprisoned her father, right?
Yeah.
And 2 other men from the Bruderhof.
And while he was in prison, the community moved to England, and that's where I was born. So by the English claim that I'm a British subject. The Swiss call me Swiss because I have Swiss blood. But then the community again had to flee from England to South America, Paraguay.
That's right.
And I celebrated my first birthday on the high ocean.
Really? I
The
actually
high
didn't even
waves,
know that.
yes.
That
the
must have
high
been
waves of the
crazy.
ocean. Yep,
Your mom must be amazing.
yeah, she was.
Wow.
And so I lived for those 21 years in Paraguay, and we were the community was quite self-contained. We had our own school teaching German and speaking German mostly in the community, and in our family we only spoke German
Okay.
until I was 21 when we came to the States.
Did you learn? You must have learned Spanish because I've heard you speak Spanish before.
Yeah, at the end of those 20 years, I had a 2-year training in a Spanish-speaking school,
Okay.
nursing school,
Okay.
and then we came to the States, and here I started all over again. I could tell you a few interesting stories, also how the American people helped me through the hurdle of English speaking.
That must have been amazing.
It was.
Because you were like an immigrant how many times? I mean, traveled from England, Paraguay. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So
And,
you restarted your nurse's training
yeah.
here.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the first year was a college. And to me, the concept of political science and all of that in English was completely foreign. I had never heard many of the words I had never heard before. But now just talking about the invasion of Russia to Ukraine, it reminded me that one of the critical days during my training was the Cuban crisis, which
Okay.
was on a glorious sunny day. But our whole school was just waiting for this last decision, which was spoken out at 12 o'clock noon. And the jubilation that went up that the
Wow.
crisis actually had come to an end and we were not going to be bombed by Russia.
Right.
So it brings it very close to what happened today
Yep.
in Ukraine. So,
Wow. I guess you can see like history repeating itself and sort
Yeah.
of you've been through a couple of these iterations basically.
yeah.
So after you graduated from college, did you work? What happened next?
In those days, it was a 3-year program, so we got a
Okay.
lot of practice in the
Okay.
hospital. And I came in the last months of my training, my husband and I were engaged, so I came properly back to the community, and from then on worked as a nurse in the community, but
communities,
with
okay.
many, like if somebody needed surgery, I was asked to go to the hospital with them, or
You'd accompany them.
I attended many births in
Yep.
the hospitals. Yeah,
That's amazing. So you and Olfader have been married how many years?
it's going to be 56.
That's amazing.
It is.
Did you hear that? 56 years. That's just amazing.
And people often say matrimonial bliss. I
Has it been bliss?
don't really know what that means, the bliss part, because life goes up and down and you have your struggles.
Yeah.
There are crises, even also in our marriage, but we decided to be very frank with one another. And it didn't always happen that we had complete peace before we went to bed, but we always aimed for it and gave one another time and came back to the subject that brought on the crisis or whatever you want to call it.
On peace.
Yes, the next day again, so that we really would find peace.
Mm-hmm.
And if we didn't quite find the way together, we always had somebody that we trusted close by, that we could share and find peace.
Yeah. Because
But that is a message that I would love to give to young couples.
Yes.
That a crisis does not mean separation. A crisis, if you really see it through, leads actually to a deepening. And when you look back, you say, wow, I'm so glad we saw this through.
Yeah, rather than quitting or letting things get even bigger.
But we are fortunate that we have help.
Yeah, yeah. And Chris and I are fortunate because we've talked to you. I've talked to you a couple times with questions or seeking advice, right?
Yeah.
So what was it like to raise 9 sons? I mean, I have 2 sons and I find myself pretty busy, so
well,
you must have had a pretty exciting household.
In our community, we have another family that has 9 girls. And I once asked the mother, wow, how did you manage? She turned around and said, how did you manage? And I thought about that, and it's actually not a matter of managing. But it can, if you look at it, it's actually quite exciting.
Yeah.
Each one at a different stage of development. And if you are interested and find joy and find it exciting, it's not a heavy burden. Sure, there are times when you just wonder what next. But here again, if one of the boys had special trust and shared something with me, I always made sure that Dan also knows.
Yeah.
And then we saw it through together.
Yeah. And I see you're knitting something here. Is that?
Well, we have a friend in New York City.
Okay.
Who gets yarn donated.
Yeah.
And she sends it to us, and we knit baby blankets and scarves and hats.
Oh, cool.
And she gives them direct to the homeless.
Oh, wow. In New York.
Yeah, in
That's
New York
amazing.
City.
That's beautiful. And this, for those of you who can't see, Ankela has a double crochet hook, which is something that may not sound amazing, but it's a crochet hook on the end. It's 2 crochet hooks attached together, which makes this beautiful double-sided, how would you explain it?
Yeah.
But this is something that's very special and unique that Ankela has been doing for many years now. And you said we, is this, do you have like a knitting circle or like friends who you do it with? Or?
Yes, there's several sisters here on the Hof that just love to knit. And they'd like to knit with a purpose.
Yes.
And this gives us a real purpose.
Cool.
To knit for the homeless.
Yeah, well, that is wonderful.
Yeah.
I love it. I also like these colors, the spring green. Spring is coming.
Well, it's wonderful to share.
Yes, it is.
Wonderful to talk with you two, my granddaughters.
Yeah.
And I hope to get into touch with some of your responses.
Yes.
I love to meet people and talk with people, and any question would be welcome.
Yeah. So if you would like to get directly in touch with my grandmother, with Ankela, you just let me know in the comments below. And I also do have an email address. If you go into my details on my channel, you can see details, and I do have an email address that you can send a personal note to her if you'd like. And
would be wonderful.
Yes. Also, you can let us know if you want to hear more from Ankela on a video. We can do. Wouldn't that be fun to do another video?
That would be fun.
This has been so much fun.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe we can get Olfeder on a video with us too.
Yes, that would be also fun.
I bet he would enjoy that. So you could also maybe one day meet my grandfather, Olfeder. Okay, see you next week. That was very fun.